My dog's name is Ranger. He's named after my friend who died in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Jeff.
Yeah, I worked with those guys. I worked a lot with, I trained under.
All right, I think we're back. Everybody's ready? Steve.
It worked so well last time.
We're gonna get our, Park and Rec Director, Steve Masters, to open us up in prayer, if that's okay.
Yes, ma'am. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for this beautiful fall weather that's coming toward us. Please be with us as we gather and help us to do what's best for the city of Sylacauga and all the citizens, and help us live for you in everything we do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Steve. All right, we'll go ahead and start our work session. 5:07, we weren't too late. All right, number one on the work session agenda, update that is necessary by council member Laura Barlow Heath to provide point of contact information for Sylacauga Little League.
I've sent Ashton Fowler to the point of contact for sharing flex of code. That's who the point of contact is.
Yeah, I got, Alex, I sent you the point of contacts for Sylacauga Little League softball.
Now, softball's in the middle of their yearly.
Yeah, they're electing officers right now, but these two contacts I sent you will obviously direct you to whoever is right contact if they're not.
But it is two though, right, or you gave me two?
And then Laura's giving me the baseball contacts, so I'm gonna get this one.
So we got two for the girls and two for the boys, right?
Correct.
You got those, Alex?
She's got softball.
Text or email, sir.
I texted.
All right, well, that's good. We wanna make sure we have those contact information because we wanna, I think we need to talk to whoever the point of contact is about that light situation, just to make sure who's in charge of the lights and they're not being left on and so on and so forth. Thanks, Laura. Number two, update that is necessary by City Clerk Attorney Wayne Livingston on property located at 317 West 3rd Street.
Ready? Okay. The lawsuit has been filed seeking eviction. I was told earlier this week by Mr. Davis that he needed more time, and I went by the building today, and it was totally, every door except the front doors were open. And there was stuff inside it, and, so, I mean, I'm not saying he had moved out, and he may just be leaving everything else there that he doesn't want, I don't know. But, he's not been served on how to the process server, no serve.
So when do you anticipate being able to do that?
I'm gonna get, process server, first thing Monday.
Okay,
If we can find, if anybody knows his address,
we can, from my understanding, we can just serve it to the building. I mean, since
not
he's,
when you're suing him.
that's for monetary damages, but in order to get him evicted out of the property, we can serve him at the last known address and,
Well, it'll be posted.
Yeah.
It'll be posted.
but that's the thing, that's what we
Monday
need.
is when it's gonna be posted.
Okay, we just wanna make sure we proceed with that,
Okay.
and then proceed with the eviction, and then once we, whether we have to go to court or whatever we end up getting possession, you know, whatever's left in there, we'll just be responsible for cleaning it out at that point.
And if you are at some point gonna sue him, the reason I was gonna get him served, we were suing him for the back rent.
Yeah, but I think that's two separate things. First, we have to just make sure we get possession of the property back. That's our, main concern at this
Okay,
point.
we'll do that.
Oh, and I still don't have a microphone on. I'm sorry.
So, and you'll start that this week, right, Mr. Lewis?
Monday.
Monday, I'm sorry,
I'll get it
today's
posted
Thursday.
Monday, I've got somebody to do it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Wynn.
You're welcome, thank you.
Anybody has any more questions on that? All right, number three, discussion that is necessary by Sylacauga City Schools Chief School Financial Officer Thomas Osborne to host special event Sylacauga High School Homecoming Community Pep Rally at Legion Stadium on September 26, 2024. Hey, Tom.
Nothing else to add other than that.
So, I'm confused. They have to get permission to host something at the field?
Cause everybody's happy to. It's the city, belongs to the city.
But they fall up under that special provision that we put into place, right?
We haven't yet, but he will, yes.
Okay.
They will, once the contracts are done for the budget, yes.
Okay, so all we need to do is just say yay over this and that's it?
Yes, but we're not voting on it, we're waiting
It's-
for
yeah,
someone to
it-
speak. Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Okay. Number 4, discussion that is necessary by King Stables Kelly Payton to host special event Horses and Hounds of Halloween Parade on Saturday, October 19th, 2024. Hey, how are you? Good. Come on up and tell us a little bit about what you're trying to do.
How are y'all tonight?
Good.
So, my name's Kelly Payton. I represent King Stables of Wilsonville and Chelsea. We service the at-risk youth of King's Home, which is a foster care system for teenagers. We do equine psychotherapy, equine facilitated learning with them, which is all horse therapy. We are seeking to host a parade this fall, October 19th. We have gotten approval from the mayor's office to host the parade, and I have approval for parking at the Sylacauga High School back lot. And I'm seeking council approval to have parking extended to the old food world lot, in case we have overflow from participants. This parade is geared towards dog owners and horse owners. They're gonna dress up their animals and themselves in Halloween costumes. Each one has to pay a registration fee and sign a waiver and all that. But then we're gonna parade through town, same route as the homecoming parade, and we will also have a cleanup crew at the end of the parade to make sure the streets are cleared as well.
Alex, has Kelly, I'm sorry, has Kelly done everything she needed to do, her checklist, to get all this, taken care of?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Insurance implications?
And that's, and I was gonna ask too, since it's going to be a parade, are we planning on, I guess we're gonna block the streets off?
Yes, ma'am.
like
I've been in
a-
contact with Lieutenant Renee, and she said everything should be set.
Okay. And what, Lee asked a question.
What if someone falls in the parking area during this event? What are the insurance implications? Is
What we
this,
normally do for a parade.
that's not, that property is not normally covered for that kind of function.
Is any of it covered?
I don't think so.
The old food world lot is where they park the horse riders for the Christmas parade. I regularly ride in that parade, which is why I'm
I
familiar with the route.
I don't think.
Do y'all do anything special, Ms. Laura, when we're doing Christmas parade?
But I don't think it's
But
supposed to be
we
closed.
aren't liable if somebody falls or something that.
I have also had a legal release document, drawn up by our legal department to release us, the city of Sylacauga, Sylacauga High School and all that, and it has to be signed by every registrant before participating.
That waiver will clear.
We've signed off on, we're good on our end of the parking is nice.
Okay, well, sounds good. You guys have any more questions?
Thank you.
If y'all have any more questions about it, I have more information, seeking sponsors and all that. I have my card to give out, so y'all just see me at the end.
Okay, well,
Awesome.
thank you.
Thank you.
And good luck.
Thank you.
Number 5, discussion that is necessary by Lisa Kaiser to host special event Sylacauga Veterans Day Parade on Monday, November 11th, 2024. Is Lisa here?
She's not, but I know that she is, with Radley Smith Funeral, and Radley Smith Funeral usually puts on the Veterans Day.
And this is
Same
something.
one every
This is the same parade that we do every year, ma'am.
Okay, so, all right. Looks like we're just crossing our T's and dotting our I's. Number 6, discussion that is necessary for consideration of ordinance number 2272-24 to authorize the sale and issuance of the city's general obligation warrant series 2024-A and series 2024-B for capital improvement purposes. And welcome to the stage.
Thank you. My name's Kane Burnett, bond counsel to the city, and as you know, we've been working on a transaction for the last several months for your Series A and your Series B warrants. Series A is for general municipal capital improvements. Series B is for the Aquatics and Recreation Center. The ordinance you have before you tonight is the culmination of all that work. It is the ordinance that authorizes both those series, locks in interest rates. Mr. Walter Lewis here can provide more information on the financial details of the sale. But this ordinance is the contract between the city and bondholders. It's at 30-something pages. It's rather lengthy, so I won't read it out. But the highlights are that again, these are fixed rate warrants. No possibility of an increase or a variable rate here. You've got 10-year call protection is required by state law. That means at the 10-year mark, the city can refinance these for a lower interest rate and achieve interest rate savings. And this also provides for creation of the accounts where the different project funds will be held at Regions Bank.
you guys have any questions on that? We're excited. Thank you so much, Kane, for, all your hard work and helping walk us through this process. We appreciate you guys. Number 7, discussion that is necessary by Human Resources Jane McGee regarding pay plan components and education policy update. Jane is coming a little late. She's still at the, Civil Service Board with the police chief interview, so we'll just move her to the bottom of the list.
We also respectfully move number 9, he's over there as well.
And number 8, which is also Karen.
Alright. Yeah, she told me on my way out, she said, I'm coming, but, of course, that trumped our work session. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and move to number 10, discussion that is necessary. Right.
Where's he at?
Okay.
Oh, the chief's there.
I know, so why do we move now?
Oh.
Cause we didn't see
I'm
him walk
sorry.
in.
Oh, well, I see, I thought it was.
When I left, you told me to move him to the bottom.
I'm sorry, do you still wanna be at the bottom, chief?
Please stay
No,
here.
we can go ahead and cover it. This should be quick and simple. So this is just a contract-related issue. It's that new software that I mentioned during our budget meetings that we're having to swap to moving into next fiscal year. But I just need to go ahead and get the contract signed so that we can begin porting all the information from the old software to the new software. It's budgeted for next year. Nothing's gonna get paid out of this fiscal year. It's all there. It's just a matter of, it's a contract, so it has to be approved.
So would this, make a difference since we haven't passed the budget? I know it's in next year's budget, but we haven't passed the
If you
budget.
haven't passed the budget, you would have to individually pass this. However, reading the agreement, it states that we're renewing at the anniversary of every year, which is August 31st, is what's in this current agreement.
So that would,
Mean, in August
Yes, August.
31st of 2024, 25, we would have to renew it. However, if implementation is in fact in October, which he's told me, in order to do that, the work has to start this fiscal year. We
I
cannot
get it.
use funds for
So-
next fiscal year.
So-
We're gonna have to approve it.
we will have to approve it for now.
For next year as well.
They won't let us, it's gonna have to be separately, it can't be a part of the budget at all, unless,
Then we're going to have to ask for it again in 25 in order to renew it. So it'll be
We
funded.
will find it in this year's budget and approve it in next year's budget.
yeah, so we're gonna have, if we do this today, it's gonna have to come out of this year's money, and we still have to put it in your budget for next year, so we don't have to do this again, right?
Go.
Yes.
So we'll have to, it'll have to be done early every time.
Yes.
Okay,
It's not scheduled to be voted on.
uh,
Or council president.
okay, yeah, because I was under the assumption that it was gonna come out of next year's budget, but we can't do
So,
that.
so if the date was changed to October 1, would that,
If the date
Yeah.
changes to October 1st, that would be fine, as long as the budget's approved before 1 October.
And we anticipate it to be approved.
And
Yeah.
they won't be able to start any work or whatever you told me a little while ago, till 1 October, so they can't implement it till after 1 October.
But since it's gonna now, if it's gonna be renewed, like if the scheduling isn't gonna change, and it's gonna always be October 31st, then it can be done now. You'll just have to do it now and in the next budget.
I'll confirm that with Alex between now and the next meeting when it gets voted
But
on.
it's a multi-year agreement.
It's every
No,
year.
it's annual.
It's annual.
It's
And it automatically renews.
So we're approving it every year for the following
Yeah,
year.
so it's like if we do it now, it's kinda like playing catch up, but we still need to plan for it. in the
I'm
next
just trying to
year.
make sure we don't end up with a lapse in our software
Yeah,
and reporting software.
so tell us what's best for you, because, so is this something that you need now, or it's not gonna take place until October 1st?
Well, we need the time to be able to port all the information over to the new software before October so that it can be live when the old program ends.
Because the old program will shut down.
Yeah, so either we're gonna do this now, and then do it again in September or August,
Next year.
yeah, next year, or we do it now and October 1 for August the 31st.
Now and October 1, I think would be our
Really,
best.
I mean, it can't be from.
Yeah, it would be
Oh,
You
this
approve
is
it
just-
now,
It'd be
you
next-
have to wait till a full year goes
Yeah,
by.
12 months from now.
The key is we have to do it now in the next budget that we're about to approve.
She said we can't do it until, it's gonna have to be in August, it can't even be in September. If the contract is ended at the end of August, you have to renew it before that, you have to approve it before then, because as of right now, the contract has already automatically renewed, and we haven't agreed to pay the money, right? Yeah, so, it is gonna have to be done, can it be done at the next, but can we vote on it and approve it at the next meeting?
The sooner the better to
Yeah.
start getting this stuff ported over.
Yeah, so this is just something, Alex, you're gonna have to put on your list, it's gonna have to be done October first every year, right?
No, he's saying if you want to now, right?
Yeah,
But I meant not October first,
August.
August first, I'm sorry, August first.
Now, let me ask the question on the agreement. The date you have now is August 31st. We're already in September. Are we going to get the date changed? Because then the council will approve something after the agreement date. This is not something we want to deal with again.
I know it, but that's what I'm saying, if we do it October, now we have to do it. I mean, we
Right.
have to do it now because we gotta have the software and we're already entered into the contract or agreement. Did the contract or agreement come before the council?
No, we have not entered into this yet, this is new.
I
The
thought,
other program phased out, right?
It
And
is-
so that's-
it is
yeah,
phasing
It's
out,
phasing
yes.
out, so you're having to switch to this program because it's, you know, going to
current.
replace the one that's phasing out.
Correct.
but according to the contract,
It would be approved again on August 31st of next year automatically.
So can we not put it in his budget for next year?
What was the question?
Can we not put it in his budget for next year?
It already
haven't
is,
approved the
it already
budget
is.
I know, but can we approve it for this, can find money somewhere that he has left over and?
he didn't have any money left over, that's not, we're not arguing doing it. We're
Yeah.
just trying to make sure when we do it this time, we're not here again next year. That's the goal.
If you wanna do it now, my recommendation would be we can do it now, the money will come out of the general fund. I would recommend that the agreement date be changed for obvious reasons to whatever date the council signs it, not August 31st.
Can you do that, Nate?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll get it approved at the next meeting, and then next time, we won't have any issues because it'll be a part of your budget, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Good.
Alright, everybody, okay. So we did number 9. Number 10, discussion that is necessary about municipal court for Judge Taylor Farr to attend the 2024 Fall Law Conference in Gulf Shores, Alabama from October 23rd through October 26, 2024, totaling $1,905, funding from fiscal year 25 municipal court budget.
This is for Judge Farr to go to his annual 2024 Fall Law Conference, which is required, for him to go to maintain his certification and his hours. They did provide a hotel registration fee documents, they did provide the, travel, the maps, everything that is required. But because it was submitted late, we don't have money, it has to be approved by the council, that's why it's on the agenda.
So let me ask you this, because this is the same issue with the last one, so this is something, where is this gonna be paid for, out of this money or next year's money? Because again, we haven't passed the budget yet.
Correct, you would be approving this now for
Is it
him to
not
go
coming
and
out of the
pass
admin fund?
No, not this one, this doesn't.
Because this is travel, in order for him to go, it has to be approved this fiscal year. That's
So-
all the travel, that's the same thing we did for Nate, Ashton, the mayor, me, Nicole, and anybody else that needs to travel in 25.
Oh, I saw.
You're
budget.
approving the money for 25, you're just approving it now so that they can go and book their hotel, book their registration.
I know it, but it's the same thing like with Nate's stuff though. We're still approving stuff and we haven't passed the budget, so we're already saying yes to a budget that we haven't finalized yet. So how can we get out of the practice of doing that? So what should have taken place here?
We can't. Because travel, in order for people to go to travel in October, if we waited till October 1st to approve his travel, he will have no hotel, the registration.
No, I'm saying, could it have been paid out of the budget we're in now, so it's already taken care of?
No, because it occurs in October.
I know it,
Anything that
but we
occurs
can go
after
ahead and,
October.
but can't we go ahead and prepay and schedule hotels? And pay for those?
We'll do that and then we'll transfer the money later. We'll take it by 25. That's all transparent to you guys. That's just what the accounting finance office does. So we would use the credit card like we did for the others, book their hotel. And then it would be posted for next fiscal year.
Maybe we can do this, and I may sound crazy, if we're gonna approve something in this year, let's just find the money and pay for it out of this year. Let's not plan for it in a, how is that illegal if we approve it now and we go ahead and pay for it? It's approved now.
If it takes place in fiscal year 25, it's gonna be paid for in fiscal year 25.
It has to come out of next year's money.
But do is
Why don't we
approve
just
it.
let them pay for it out of judicial admin fund and reimburse them at a later date? And they can pay for it right now.
Services agreement, that's the one I was.
I know it, but it's.
You hear me, Tim?
No, I didn't.
Why don't they just pay for it out of the judicial admin fund and they can do that tomorrow and then we reimburse them whatever?
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying, though, we're approving stuff that we haven't passed yet. That's what I'm saying.
But this way you're not. You tell them to pay for it out of their fund that they can only.
It may be one of those that is not eligible to be paid for out of the admin fund.
It's not because of the traveling. They pay for training, but it's because of the traveling.
But he would be in the same boat, because this is on fiscal year too.
Okay. I was just trying to see how we could get out of putting the cart before the horse, but I guess the horse is in the back.
That's in their budget too. So pretty much anything the council approves for FY '25, if you go back and you start cutting from a department, the department has to work around the stuff you guys have already approved.
Number 11, discussion that is necessary by interim, Chief Rondell Muse to replace a Honeywell DR120 dehumidifier for the storage room from Clover's Heating and Air totaling $4,000. I got a couple of questions on this one, too.
Yes, ma'am.
My first one is, why do we need a dehumidifier in that room if we just got the, heating and air equipment replaced?
Well, the humidifier was placed there before we upgraded to the new heating and air place because of the moisture. It's in the basement, in the ground, and the only ventilation that goes in and out there is with the air conditioning system. Now, when that dehumidifier was put in there, the line was connected to it to drain water like dehumidifiers do. However, when that line was connected, it was also connected to the air conditioning. So at that time, although water was coming out of the pipe, nobody knew that the dehumidifier had actually stopped working until mold and all that stuff.
So is the dehumidifier a permanent fixture in the room?
Yes,
or just-
ma'am.
Oh, so it's not something that we place there to fix a problem?
That's correct.
So it's a permanent fix.
Because of the area, the training room's over there, storage facilities over there, the evidence room is over there.
So let me ask you, so who decided that that permanent fixture needed to be there?
That was way before my time.
Cause I'm trying to see, cause if we just got a new AC and, heating system put down there, I would,
And they tied into what was already there with the dehumidifier. They didn't add a new one. So,
Thinking it would work.
yes, sir.
So they just saw the drainage from the AC thinking that the humidifier was.
Thought it was still
and it was
working.
the AC.
Now, I know you have the total of the damage. I didn't,
I don't know if everybody else, I got my
well,
sheet for mine.
okay, and I didn't get a chance to get it to Ms. Lambert before everything got published out. However, what we did was, we went through everything, and I'm not asking you to replace everything right now at this time, only the basic services of what we can use to get by.
So is this an updated list from what I got the other day? Because I
Same
told.
list, but on it, it says hold on some items
So,
and buy on others.
And this is not covered by any insurance?
No, sir. After our 100-year flood that we had here last year, they put a clause in there, mold and mildew no longer is applicable for the city of Sylacauga. You know that one time 100-year flood, Mike told me on the convoy?
what is the total on the needs, the,
14,000, it's on the last page.
I see it.
And that's stuff we've got to have, right, Chief?
That's basic stuff. We're gonna buy average sizes. Hopefully nobody big as me need it, and we'll go, but we gotta have it.
Okay.
But that's not on here for discussion or to be voted on, is it, Alex?
No,
That-
it's not.
It'll be on the next council meeting, so,
I think he's just getting it to you guys.
yeah, just letting you know.
Just to go there.
An itemized listing, I know how you like those.
I do, thank you.
So you're asking for this to be on the next agenda?
That's
to be voted
correct.
on, right? Where will the
Hopefully.
funds come from, Alex?
We come from the general fund, all the money that everybody turned in, that the
y'all have any more questions about that?
Thank you.
Thank you. Number 12, discussion that is necessary by City Clerk Treasurer Alexandria Lambert to roll the fiscal year 24 balance from nuisance and abatement line to fiscal year 25 totaling $143,500. And we talked about this during our budget meeting. There was some money left over in that line item.
But that was before they decided to do the work themselves on those, that was for that specific property over there on Main Avenue, wasn't it?
Can we back up to the agenda? We added an item, and I think, I may have printed the wrong one between the warrant call and the civil service board meeting. But on the actual agenda, we have an emergency item, number 10. Discussion that is necessary to approve reimbursement to Sylacauga Utility Board for repairs for that LED pedestrian countdown. I think we may have printed version 1, and I apologize, but it is actually 10 that we voted on this evening.
Let's just make sure, since we forgot to put it on here, let's just make sure it's updated on the website and in our,
And that's something, we can't do nothing about. That's something they do and then just bill us and say, hey, we done it right here.
That's correct, the light was right here at Third and Broadway, it's used for a crosswalk for pedestrian safety. It broke, they fixed it, they go.
Okay.
It's on the agenda, it's just not on the work session.
yeah.
That's
Like I
right.
said, I think I printed version 1 between all these meetings today. I apologize.
Alright, so are we ready to go back to number 12?
We are.
Alright, discussion that is necessary by City Clerk Treasurer Alexandria Lambert to roll the fiscal year 24 balance from nuisance and abatement line to fiscal year 25 totaling $143,500. And from my understanding, Alex, correct me if I'm wrong, that's what was gonna be left, in the budget for this year. You guys are asking for it to be rolled over to next year and have the additional amount considered on top of it?
Yes, that is correct. And the reason for that is, due to the properties on North Main. If for some reason they do not tear down those properties, the city will be responsible for it, and we will end up losing or using the majority of those funds.
And you're asking for this money to not be rolled over back into the general fund like the rest of the money, but to be left alone and just put into the line item for the nuisance and abatement because of all the work that we have.
That's correct. We haven't had a nuisance abatement officer in a long time. Josh is working really hard. And we just wanna make sure.
Hold on, y'all, so we can hear everybody. Go ahead, Alex.
Did Laura have a comment?
How much is the total with what they're asking for FY 25?
For FY 25, they're asking for 400,000, which is totally separate than this discussion. This would end up rolling from FY 24 to allow him to get the city cleaned up, which is what the council's been asking.
So the total would be 543.
It would be the total.
Well, why wouldn't it go back to the general fund like everything else is returned and just rebudget it a new amount? I mean, same net effect, but cleaner than moving something from one budget year to another.
Because we don't move money from FY 24 to FY 25,
No, just put it back in the general fund and rebudget.
but we don't spend it. That's part of the reserves. So we won't spend it. In order to move any money from FY 24 to FY 25, we have to come before the council has to approve it.
So is it gonna be, is this some money that we're gonna spend before 25, Alex? I think that's what maybe the part of the question is.
Could be if they don't do their part on Main.
Correct.
Right?
So
And,
if they-
and as of right now, guys, they've not even started yet.
That's, yeah, that's right.
But it should just be budgeted where it's gonna be spent, not drug over the line.
Or can we,
That sets
We
precedent.
want it drug, per your words, we want it drug over to allow him, in the event the city has to tear down those houses. That way there, he's not already spending 143 next year, using that 400,000 he's asking for. Because since the FY 25 budget has not been approved, and it was cut last year, we just wanna make sure he's got the funding,
To do what
You,
he needs
you
to
make
do.
sure he has the funding by budgeting for it.
which he did. But that's
He was
fine,
over.
we just,
I think this is
he wants to
unnecessary.
make sure he has funding for all of Maine, then he's gonna have to go to, I believe it's 8th Street.
But
Is
we
it
can
8th
have
Street?
funding by putting it in the budget.
That's correct.
alright, I see both sides, so let's do this. Because since we have a nuisance and abatement officer in place, and we do wanna do the work, and we all agree that we are gonna do the work, Alex, I don't think it's necessary to, we don't have to roll it. I don't think we have to roll it. We're gonna, decide what we're gonna budget for, and when that time comes, if they need additional money, you can just come back to the council and request it and tell us why.
Perfect, so, not a problem.
Y'all, that's it?
Good, that's
Yeah.
great.
Whatever you got there.
Sounds good.
I was good either way.
Alright, Is this on the agenda to be voted on?
No, ma'am,
Okay, cause I said no. Alright.
per council president.
Number 13, discussion that is necessary by City Clerk Treasurer Alexandra Lambert regarding Talladega County Commission invoice number 9420 for city's juvenile court totaling $5,869. Appropriation previously approved paid totaling $43,049.
So we don't have a say in how much money we pay for the juvenile expenses, it's based on a percentage. Talladega County did not calculate ours correct, which we provided both invoices. This was previously paid in October in full, and we recently got this bill on the other day. So that's why it's on the agenda, because we still owe them, they're saying the difference.
So the difference is 5,000?
Yes, ma'am.
So was this one of the things that got cut when we did the budget stuff, or is just?
No, ma'am, this is one of those contracts we don't actually have a say in at all. It's for, yeah, it was just a mistake on Talladega's part, but I'm sure Chief Hughes could, explain what those funds are used for.
I don't have any questions. Do y'all have any questions on this? Alright, okay, sounds good. We'll move to.
That is on the agenda to be voted on.
Sounds good. Number 14, discussion that is necessary by City Clerk Treasurer Alexandria Lambert to rescind resolution number 23-2023 and to approve resolution number 101-2024 to revise the allocation of revenue generated by sales tax. And, Alex?
Per yourself, said council president, you asked us to come up with a different allocation, and I know the council has talked about it. What to do with the additional 1.5%.
Yeah, and guys, Melody helped with this as well, so, we have the documents, we should have documents on our computers, but Melody also helped, come up with this recommendation. And the goal for this is to, make sure that we're able to pay our debt. That was the biggest thing.
So 50% would go toward the debt, 1.5% would go toward the general fund, 15% is sales tax, and then capital projects is 33.5%.
And this is just the 1.5% sales tax that, that this is including, nothing else, just the 1.5 cent that we raised, and this can be changed, but we do need to have something in place so we're able to, make our debt service payment and so on and so forth.
So pretty much the 1% that was raised is
Yes.
going forward.
That's the formula, yeah.
Okay.
And it's also up to $4 million, so anything over the $4 million is gonna go into the, Alex?
Any amount in excess will be remain in the general fund.
So this is just calculated up to $4 million.
4 million per year, 4 million total.
4 million, per year, it's over a 12-month average.
Gotcha. You can always change it again.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So do you guys have any questions, concerns about this?
That is on the agenda to be voted on.
Okay, so number 15, discussion that is necessary by City Clerk Treasurer Alexandria Lambert to rescind resolution number 2-98 and review the proposed new purchasing policy.
I'm gonna pass the microphone to Ms. Brown.
Good
We
evening.
didn't forget about you, Jane.
So at the August 6th work session, city clerk discussed the purchasing process and went over that with you guys. And then we also highlighted that our current policy was established in 1998. And it referenced paper invoices and paper copies. So we, put together a purchasing policy based on our current practices. And we emailed that out on August 28th to the mayor, department heads, and we, requested feedback. And boy, did we get it. But all of it was really good feedback, and I think it'll make the procedures even stronger for that. So what we are requesting is the opportunity to send it out again with all of the revisions and changes, and then, bring it back to you guys after that's been done.
Have you guys had time to review this? Yes. So are we good with them, looking out of it? Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Well, sounds good. Thank you guys so much for, getting this together, and also thanks for allowing, the rest of the department heads feedback. Things that we're trying to put in place, get implemented. Okay. So we're on to number 16, discussion that is necessary by City Clerk Treasurer Alexandria Lambert regarding the financial policy.
Yes, we brought this to the council about 6 to 8 weeks ago before we started the warrant process. Throughout the warrant process, I'm sure, since you were on the calls, you'll remember, we had kept referencing that we were trying to institute a financial management policy for the city. This does not really have an effect on the departments, this is just on the administration and finance department. Again, it tells how we get our, revenues, how we adopt our budget, how we pay our bills, our short-term, our long-term debt, our improvement projects, our capital, so on and so forth. Laura, you have something?
I'm just looking over it.
Hey, Alex, did Wynn have a chance to review this?
We did send it to Wynn, it is on his invoice, he reviewed it, he sent me an email and said that he can't, provide any guidance and or feedback on this policy, and that was last month before it came to the council.
But everybody else has, do any of you guys have any questions on this end?
I don't.
Alright, Laura, you wanna, share your?
I'm good, I think, for the most part with it.
Okay, so,
Yes.
so we're good? Alright, Alex, and also too, Walt, was recommending that we get something like this in place with
Yeah.
all those.
That's the right people.
I think we're good with this, Alex.
Yes, ma'am, thank you so much.
Alright. Number 17, discussion that is necessary by City Clerk Treasurer Alexandria Lambert to rescind resolution number 36-2023 and approve resolution number 86-2024 assigning authorized signatures for financial transactions of the City of Sylacauga. And before we do our questions, because I know a few of us have questions, let's just do them one at a time, so we can make sure everybody's heard. If that's okay, you wanna go first, Lee?
I'm concerned about this as written. Number one, not included in this, I think it's imperative that we rescind the resolution authorizing a signature stamp, in absence of the mayor. That signature stamp could be lost, could be removed or stolen, could be used to stamp, and without any additional signature, result in, money being spent that wasn't intended to be spent. There's no need for a signature stamp if there are other signatories available and a signatory policy to be able to have the right people in the right place to sign those checks. I think it's very dangerous to have a signature stamp because, again, it can be misappropriated and no additional oversight is required, just the stamp. That stamp should be destroyed.
So is that your only objection?
It is not.
Okay, we'll keep going.
Would you like us to address these one at a time, or no?
Hold on,
Go
let's.
ahead, because it's separate.
You sure? But hold on, because we're here, and I do think we need to put something in place, so after we hear the objections or the additions, we are gonna decide on something, so we can put something in place. So Lee,
Well, that was a separate resolution, so I mentioned that first because
Okay.
it's proceeding part of this.
alright, let's go.
I'm still confused and concerned about, other parts of the language in this agreement. I don't believe that it serves the city's best interest to have some of the policies outlined. I'd rather go through that in a separate review than spend 35 minutes going through it in a public meeting.
It's okay, I mean, because we gotta get it done, and I know, there was some time scheduled for us to do this and some conflicting scheduling, so let's go ahead and,
I'm not prepared to finish that discussion tonight, so we can just see what everybody else thinks and go from there.
alright, Laura, you have some comments on this?
I'm not in favor of this. I think number 5 is overstepping. Banks don't require social security cards when you're getting on the accounts. There's not enough checks and balances in it. I mean, just having one person and their assistant to be able to access, the information. I think the mayor should be able to, as CEO of the city.
Sorry, do you think there needs to be 3 people to access to sign or access a bank account?
Not to sign, but to have access to the account. There was another thing. I think that, if we're going to change banks, I think that needs to be brought before the council, instead of taking millions out of one bank and the council having no idea that transaction happened.
I don't think that falls under us, but let me go back, cause I wanna make sure we have all the notes, so when we do whatever we're gonna do, everybody's.
Be aware that money, like major money, like if they close down accounts, we should know where
But
the
we did ask them
institutions are.
to consolidate when we had
Yeah.
something bank accounts.
And also too, you know, it's up to the mayor's discretion to have the city clerk to take money and invest it
That's
as
part
well.
of
And
him
yeah,
being the
right.
CEO of the city.
But hold on, let me go back to the stuff we can't control. So, your objective was it,
Number 5 is overstepping. I mean, if, that's just, I mean, I think that's null and void. If somebody wants to get on bank accounts, they know what to do. They don't have to present their social security card to the city clerk.
but I know
I mean-
the city has stuff in place as well as the bank. So is that the only objection you have,
And
having to provide your social?
Well, also, I think that it's just overstepping, and I mean, I just think it's too much. And also, I don't like that there is, only 2 people, like the city clerk and her assistant, that's, you know.
So what are you suggesting so we can?
I think the mayor needs to have access as well.
So the mayor and
to the
another
account.
person?
Yeah,
Okay, so you're saying a mayor and another person?
cause it just gives it checks and balances, you know?
So 3 people total,
Yes.
okay.
Alright, okay, so we got the 3 people total.
Could I have one more thing while we're on this subject?
I didn't even write yours down, I forgot. Come on.
I did.
You did?
So-
Yes, ma'am, sure.
Okay.
So,
No problem.
here's the core of the issue that bothers me, that is what I wanna explore, but I wanna give a summary of that since you're writing things down. The banks don't care that the city of Sylacauga presents them with a resolution. They have their own policies for processing things. When checks are written, and they have account numbers on them and routing numbers on them, they pass through all the federal clearinghouses, they come through, and there's no human being who looks to determine that they're 2 signatures, that they're multiple signatures. What we need as part of this is a policy that people we authorize to sign checks agree to follow, meaning that they don't do this, they don't do that, things that they can control and we can control their behavior through employment. We cannot expect a bank to follow city policy because they're far removed from the processing of checks that flow through the system before the bank ever sees it, and the physical copy is never inspected by somebody who works for the bank.
Well, that's what anything that we do though, Lee, all we can do is just provide what we expect people to do, whether or not they abide by it, I mean, we can't.
But,
That's right.
We can't really.
but there can't be an expectation that a bank follow these rules. We've
No.
gotta make sure that the employees who are empowered to sign under these city rules are following the rules. It has to be imposed on those having the signatures. The bank can't be responsible for applying a policy that conflicts with any federal banking information that might be a few words off. But more importantly, they don't see the checks. They don't know that they're 2 signatures. They don't understand these things because it's not part of not the way the banks work. So,
But depending on what type of account you open, can it be required that it be 3 signatures?
no.
Or
I'm not-
can
no,
the
Process through
mayor?
the
It won't process, the problem is access. You don't have a department head and their subordinate, the only 2 that have access to this stuff. I
So
mean,
what are you recommending? Because we can't get together outside of this to come up with something, so that's why we're writing this down.
I think the mayor should have access,
So
full
you're
access.
recommending just the mayor and another person, but it still can't be, I don't agree with it being just one person, just.
No, it needs to be
being the mayor.
multiple people.
Yeah,
So
and
you're
I-
saying just add the mayor?
Add the mayor to have full access, cause like right here, I mean, like, access to financial information, full access to information from financial institutions regarding city
Okay,
accounts.
so
drainage.
the mayor and one other
The 2
person,
people.
we're suggesting that the mayor and one other person it's not your turn yet, Alex, I'm just saying stuff to you. So the mayor and one other person be the signatories on the account, and also Lee is requesting, and I feel some type of way about this too, the stamp. I don't like the stamp either. The stamp scares me. So, alright,
Look at number 6, Tiffany.
hold on, alright.
The mayor's stamp's been in place for as long as I can remember.
No, it was newly added.
Hold on,
It was
it's-
added in
hold on.
2012.
Hold on, we're doing it one at a time, everybody's had their turn.
Thank you, Mayor Hyde. It's been here since 2012. Why would we just all of a sudden decide to take it away in case he's absent or whatnot? I know when.
That's why there are additional signatures.
And I get it, so what he's saying is, and I get that, and I do, and, this conversation has come up, and it probably was before you came, Nate. And the reason is, that's why maybe whoever is council president at the time, you know, cause that's usually who would step in if something happens to the mayor or the mayor isn't available. But I do like the fact of it being actual signatures versus the stamp. So,
Okay.
But,
All right, I was just
Yeah.
confused on why we just all of a sudden wanted to take a stamp away and make a few different changes, and we've operated on a couple of resolutions for a long time around here. So that's just me, but whatever we think we can come up with tonight and get this in place is what we need to do.
Alright, Ashton?
No, I agree, the stamp is, kind of a worry to me as well. I mean, it's an easy fix. If the mayor can't be here to sign, nobody else uses the stamp to sign for him. That's just like them forging a signature. So if he's not here to use it, then if he's not here, nobody's gonna use it anyway, so why not just have him here sign it? If he's not here, we have backup signatories to take his place. So I think it's, you know.
Alright, so let me ask this, so, cause we're gonna have to compromise one way or another, and again, we're gonna have to let our vote reflect our decision, but we do need to put something in place, because we've been pushing this back and forth a couple of meetings now. So, are we in agreement so we can compromise to where the mayor is added to, the person that signs along with one other person, and also we're gonna take away the, signature stamp?
That's all.
Is the mayor okay with that?
I have no problem doing away with the stamp. It was only used one time, 15 years I served in office.
Yes, sir.
But we're trying to come up with a compromise so we can.
Yeah, if that's what the council needs, if that's what we think we need to do, I'm good with it.
And we can take a few more minutes if you like, it's fine, that's what the work session is for. It's okay, I promise. I ain't got nowhere to be. Alex, we're gonna give you a chance in a minute.
Oh,
We're trying
you
to make
take
sure
your
we get
time.
all the, questions.
You're good, I got all of them.
And Liam, I'm probably fine, that's what the work session is for, that's why we're here.
I was just overstepping, you know, like, we shouldn't have to give it to us.
I don't, but the thing is with me, I don't mind, and this is why I don't mind handing over my driver's license, I don't mind handing over my social, because what y'all have to realize, we're people off the street. I mean, we're not
But they don't
employees,
need
and when we
it
go out,
for the
somebody else is
banks.
gonna come in, and they need to, if they need the extra security, I mean, I may go down there and,
Yeah, I have no problem giving my license or anything.
No, but it's just the principle of it.
The key though is that it doesn't matter what we want. We have to provide whatever information the bank requires, which may or may not include the social security.
It does
So
not,
if it doesn't,
yeah.
then they don't. If they ever change the policy.
but this is a policy we're trying to put in place on behalf of the city. Remember, council members and mayors are people off the street.
But you could change this, that they have to provide any identification required by the bank. Done. Don't have to name it.
So Alex, does the bank require that we provide our socials? I don't have a problem with
Number cards.
Is it my turn?
yes.
Okay.
Hold on. Any more
Just for that one
questions?
question, or
Every,
questions in general?
everything, but add that too. We wanna know if the,
I would love to
if
start
the bank,
with number
I
5.
think the banks do require your social security.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And just so the council is aware, we have your social security numbers on file for payroll. So what we're proposing is the same thing we did when I took over, and Ashton was not on the bank accounts for whatever reason. Ashton provided his social security number, his card, and his driver's license. We got with the 4 banks, provided them packets along with their individualized documentation that they requested. We made copies for our records, which are in the vault, so that they are not accessible to anybody. We hand walked over those documents to each bank and handed it personally, versus waiting on a council president or a mayor or somebody else to turn in their social security number to be added to accounts.
But they do require it. They do have to.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Tom
to
shaking
But
his
they-
head, yes.
I know they do, but
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But it should be whatever is required.
I'm sorry,
But they
are you
do,
done?
they do require
They
it,
may change, but they may change.
But it's for-
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is it needs to be limited.
but it's for
Alex,
security
they-
purposes.
We have everybody's social in the city that's being paid.
It's
but
okay, we
do-
just wanna make sure we are in agreement, they do require it. We do have,
Yes, they
okay.
do require, and they do require your driver's license, because the name on your driver's license is the name you're supposed to be signing the checks, not the name you go by. And Ms. Nix, if you recall, the day after you became the president, you showed up in my office, I made copies of all those documents, and that afternoon, you were signing to be placed on the bank accounts. There was no delay by the accounting and finance office.
Okay, so, but we're all on the same page, we do have to provide our, socials, and for security purposes, we wanna make sure nobody's writing it wrong or leaving anything off.
That's
So the-
correct, we don't even email them,
Alright.
we hand walk them.
So the next thing,
The next thing was the signature
yes,
for the mayor. So when the mayor was in the hospital, before the mayor was in the hospital, I apologize to the council, before, he had called myself, his assistant and him in a meeting, and he had drafted a personalized letter that said if anything needed to be signed to have internal controls, I had to have the letter attached with every check, every stamp we used, a detailed log detailing who we sent the check to, the date, the amount, and we had to have copies of the check before and after we used his signature. All that was provided upon entry back into the office.
Okay.
That's the only time we've ever used it.
But I think moving forward, we can agree that we don't wanna use it anymore, and we wanna put someone else, another title or someone else in place to sign checks in case the mayor isn't available, right?
Which is.
It's supposed to be the council president.
Okay, so
If
that's,
they're available, however, that resolution is a different resolution, that's not addressed in this one.
but we wanna address it in this one, that's the goal here, so
So
can
we
we?
need to rescind that resolution and add that to this one.
Yes, we wanna
Perfect.
make sure it's in this resolution that we're working on now.
Perfect.
That line item needs to be in there, alright?
We could just rescind that entire resolution in entirety.
Yeah.
So we don't have to add it unless Mr. Harriman wants me to.
No, just separate
Separate.
resolution.
But
Okay,
we wanna
so-
make sure it's listed in the new one.
No, it doesn't have to.
It doesn't have to
They're
be.
separate.
Oh,
They're two separate.
okay, well, we got so many things
We
going on.
can just vote on that next time, or do we wanna discuss it again? Just so I'm.
No, we can vote on it, I think we can vote on it next time since we're discussing it now. Alright, so now,
And as far as adding 3 people,
we don't wanna add 3 people, that's not what we wanna do, we wanna change who the people are, because we can't add 3 people, right? Right?
It would be
Okay.
impractical for three people to sign checks. I was talking about for access to financial information, I was saying the mayor needs to be able to access full financial information, to item number 6 on the resolution. Instead of the department head and their subordinate.
So adding the mayor regarding number 6.
Yeah.
so, no offense to the council, but I'm just gonna bring it up. It appears that there's a lack of confidence in the city clerk's office because it has been like this forever. We previously asked the mayor when I assumed control if he wanted access online, as I did Ashton Fowler. Both declined at the time, but since it's eternity, neither one has had access to online banking. And that's fine if you guys want that, but I mean, that's going into the weeds and weeds. So if I need to print a bank statement and I'm
Okay,
out,
no, we
the
don't.
mayor's gonna have to do it.
Alright, hold on. I don't know, I don't know, and we're not gonna discuss that, all that stuff. We're just trying to compromise and meet in the middle so we can get this resolution passed,
Well, I think there is distrust because of this whole resolution debacle that's been on.
But we're-
I think that was rectified when you filed a police report.
Oh my God, okay, I just said we weren't gonna do that, so anybody bring anything else up about any of that, I'm gonna ask you to leave no matter who you are, we're not doing that, nobody's doing that.
I
Okay,
think though it can be offered, like, you know, the access can be there for the mayor. He doesn't have to utilize it, but just the access can be there.
Right.
And then if something
It's just
happens to
checks
the
and
mayor, and there has to be a council president step up to the mayor, and then a new council president assumes, then the
Yeah.
access is there for the mayor position.
I'm fine
yeah,
either way,
and
guys.
I'm fine,
I'm
and
saying you
then,
have
yeah,
to use it.
and the mayor may not even use it, so Alex, this is what we would like to do, we would like for that access to be available for whoever the mayor is. Whether or not they use it is up to them, but it's available upon their request, how about that? That sounds good? Okay, alright.
So add the mayor to section 6, so is the city clerk and the administrative assistant
We're
and
gonna-
the mayor?
Yes, please,
Not a problem, it'll be done tomorrow.
thank you. Alright, any more questions about this? Any more, so we're not gonna, we have what we're gonna, put in place,
She's
have
got a note, she's gonna
what
add
we're
it.
gonna pass and what
Yep.
we're gonna approve, and we don't need, we're done with the discussion, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Alright. Sounds good. Okay, and that was number 17, right? So we have to go back to number 7, Jane. Alright, discussion that is necessary by human resource, Jane, review regarding pay plan components and education, updates, education policy updates.
Thank you, dear. education policy. I am hoping that we found that satisfactory and we did have time to review it. We had a great meeting with Ms. Nix and talked about what we're looking for. So I don't know how you wanna go about, do we wanna start with Laura, just go down the line, and see if
We
there's
can
any
start that way, I'm bringing out my policy.
Alright, so we'll start from this end, so, Ashton, you go first.
I don't have anything off initially reading it, but somebody else may have a concern and spark my interest, but I didn't see
That's
anything
fine.
off of the
I
first
appreciate
read
it.
through.
Well,
Nate, what you got?
Ms. Jane, what I don't understand is, we've had this conversation 3 or 4 different times, that when we've done, educational degrees, and based on their degree, they would get 1 step per degree. Well, the way I'm reading this, you get 1 step for an associate's, 2 steps for a bachelor's, 3 steps for a master's. I thought it was gonna be 1 for an associate's, 1 for a bachelor's, and 1 for a master's, a total of 4. I know we've talked about that a couple of times, and that's kind of what I thought the council had been looking for the whole time,
I don't
but we
recall
haven't
that.
received it.
I don't recall that, but I do know we have a maximum of 4 steps, that's all they'll ever get. So it really is just gonna depend on what the person has. If they come in at higher, or if they get their degree here, if they have an associate's, they get 1 step.
And that's totally, like, when they first come on, say I first come and I got an associate, so I'm gonna get that 1 step. So I can't get but 3 more steps throughout
That's right.
the entirety of my career, correct?
That's right. So if you came in with a bachelor's, you get 2 steps. And the reason we wanna do it that way is because of the value of the degree and what it costs that person for each degree. It's very expensive. So that, they can do that. If you come in with a master's, you get 3, and then you can only get 1 more.
And
So,
thi-
go ahead.
And this even includes people who have already been compensated, correct? So if you've already been compensated, say, you know, we just passed a new pay plan, so if I've already been compensated, if I've already got 4 steps, it doesn't matter how much I advance my education, I can't get any more steps because I'm maxed out, right?
That's correct, and we did talk about grandfathering, and my understanding is we won't do grandfathering, and I understand that.
Because we just, compensated everybody with the new pay plan, that was the reason behind it.
I'm talking about the people that started under the old policy, but I
And
understand.
these degrees that we're talking about, of course, we wouldn't give you a step if you had a criminal justice degree and you was street sweeping.
They have to pertain to your, job.
We did discuss that, okay. All right, Mr. Jake, there was one more issue
Okay.
that I read, well, I'd say issue, a concern I had is when we're training, like if we have like 5, we have to pay back 4 or 5 months worth of training.
I'm not following the question.
Okay.
Are you talking about pay point, are you talking about comp time, or are we still on the same thing?
Am I on 2 different?
Yeah, I think you're on 2 things, hold that question, I think you're talking about comp time.
Okay, I thought it was, forgive me, Ms. Jane.
That's okay.
Okay, so is that your only question on the
Yeah, I'm
education
good, I'm
policy?
just making sure we're only getting the 4 steps like we had
Alright,
That's
talked
right,
about.
that's all everybody left.
alright, Lee?
I'm concerned about the way it's written, the 4 steps, beginning with the 3rd point is you can get a bachelor's degree, you can be eligible for up to a 2-step raise. I don't know why it has to be anything other than a 1-step raise.
You're right, and we can make that change. You're
So-
absolutely right.
So would it be just 1 step, or would it be 2 steps?
It'd be 2.
Okay.
But it's not, but you're giving them,
It's not up to, you're right, we need to change the wording.
and the same thing on number 4, but, there's no instance where someone is going to be hired and then we somehow forgot that they had a degree that applied, they were street sweepers and became a doctor and had 3 steps, where just because they moved to another position, they suddenly get 3 steps, right? Or,
I think we can take care of that by maybe probably adding that in the job description, or, you know, when we're hiring people and posting people, or, I don't know, maybe in the interviews.
But she said there's no, as of right now, talking about people that are hired in at something.
Yeah, but
There's no grandfathering in, so that wouldn't apply.
you know how, like, say someone may come, they may not know that they can get credit for it, and then they're watching a council meeting and say, well, hey, they gave Nate credit for his, and I got one,
That's
but
what happens in the future.
Yeah, when somebody comes in the future, or anyway, just upon hire, everything needs to be disclosed at hire. Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Considered it hired, it's not disclosed, it is the count. The key is that we have to find ways to creatively reward people and make them want to work here and stay here, so we have to do this. We've just gotta make sure that the system can't be somehow misused or abused, because we didn't think of something when we put these policies in place.
Well, I've always asked, and you look at the application, you know, and I ask anyway, even if it's not on there, in case they forgot to put it on there.
Yeah, as you should, because we wanna make sure, you know, people have that additional
Exactly,
education.
and I'm honest with them, I say, well, it really depends on what that degree is and if it's related to your department, because I may not be able to do it, I never promise anything.
So according to this, we have some questions were raised about the wording in 3 and 4 or 3, 4, and 5. 3, 4, and 5.
Okay.
And also, we're on the same page as to where, this is an additional compensation. Everyone who was already compensated during the, pay plan implementation, they've already, you know, they have what they have, but they can add on top if they haven't reached the 4.
And it also needs to be not retroactive. If somebody forgets to ask for it, they can't come 2 years later and say, I forgot I got a master's degree 3 years ago.
Yeah. So can that be added in this, Jane, to make sure people understand that it's not, you can't get retroactive pay?
Yep.
Just
The
like
more-
citizens.
The more we have in here, the better it's gonna go.
Every one of it's just recommendations. It doesn't mean it's automatic.
All right, yeah, Lee, it's in that next to the last paragraph on the first page.
Got it.
When you said, okay, so we've already got it. Thanks, yes.
You're good. Could I comment on the up to comment?
You can, go ahead.
The reason why the words up to were put in the policy was because of the 4-step cap. If they had received a bachelor's, then they could get up to that amount, but
that
not,
makes
may not
sense.
necessarily.
Okay,
get
I get it
there.
now, I get it now, it makes sense, because they may only have 1 step left, and we can still just give them, okay, that makes sense.
Okay, that makes sense.
Oh,
Okay.
Good job, Cassie.
Thank you. Good job, Kathy.
you too, Jane.
Yes, Jane, thank you for your hard
Thank
work.
Thank you, too, Jane. Alright, so I think, Jane, can we get those couple of things amended or changed?
Yeah, and we wanted to leave the up to though, we're not changing
Yeah,
that.
we can, because, and just let people know, you know, if you got 1 left.
We've got the
you
no
still get-
credit already in there, so what's left to change? I just wanna make sure I'm not missing anything, 'cause I think we found everything we
Okay.
needed.
Alright, we're not changing it. So let's do this, I think. Do you guys have any more questions on this? Are we good?
I just
As is?
need a
Okay.
clarification on the.
And we don't need to change anything, right? Okay, so let's get this is not to be voted on tonight, so can we get this added to the next agenda since we're in agreement on this? And thank you guys so much, and I did have a productive meeting, with Cassie, Jane, and the mayor, and we appreciate you guys for getting this done in a timely manner and all your hard work.
Okay,
Alright,
thank you.
and the next one is number 8, discussion that is necessary by human resource training regarding I can't even say that, what Lee said, time off changes. You have to start just leaving me the abbreviations. Yeah, say that.
Where do we wanna start with questions?
We'll start, Laura, you wanna start this time?
I don't have any I mean, it's pretty much well laid out.
Okay.
So say how you, so how do you feel about it, Laura?
I like it.
You like it, so you're in agreement with this, okay? Lee? Alright, we'll skip Lee.
I'm not for comp time, I think me and you've had this conversation with Jay before, I'm not for comp time, period, guys, and here's the reason why. Because comp time can be misused if it's not careful, and I'm not saying anybody is. It can be misused if it's not careful. I think we just need to pay the overtime and just pay it outright. And the comp time that people have right now, we need to pay it at the rate it was earned and go in and pay everything out and let everybody start. Because should be the fire department should be the only ones with the comp time, I would think, per their policy that we have in place. So it shouldn't be that high. Am I correct in saying that, Cassie, Ms. Jane? Shouldn't they be the only ones with comp time?
There's a resolution out there,
Not
I'm
necessarily.
sorry, 64-2022 that authorizes only the fire department.
That's what I'm saying, so the fire department should be the only ones with the comp time because of that.
But Cassie was gonna say something else.
I'm sorry, Kathy.
You was gonna
Well,
say somebody else.
before we go on, is there anybody else with any?
Yeah, we do have some more questions. Ashton?
No, some of, I mean, you deal with it all the time, but I don't, so it's new territory for me, so right now, I don't have any questions.
Yeah.
I'm just still confident.
Yeah, we just need to pay it out.
Yeah, I'm also not in favor of it. I do think if you work it, just go ahead and get the overtime, and then we just leave it. It's less, I think it's less administrative work. We're not having to keep up with it, and if people work it, go ahead and pay them for their work. Just pay the overtime.
Because the only thing I deal with in comp is like, people on salary, they get comp if they come in and work a day they're not supposed to, and they never get overtime. It's just a comp day that they get if they come in on a Saturday and work, then they get that day for comp. They don't earn overtime.
We need to make sure that nothing we're doing is depriving people of overtime that they're entitled to be paid.
Right. So my world's completely different, is what I'm saying, so I can't really think.
Well, I would question this is more of an executive issue rather than a legislative. Because it's not anymore, it's just a process that we use for our employees.
Any more questions before we'd like to, speak to
So
what you're
Alex,
saying?
on what the mayor just said, is this up to the council?
It involves money, so it's.
Cause that's what I was thinking.
I was gonna say, when I went to council school, anything involved money comes to us.
Well, I still wanna make sure everybody is heard and
I
we just
understand.
give the,
Yes, ma'am.
Pay people what they earn, not bank it.
It's always been approved by council in the past, but I would defer to the city attorney. Lynn?
Okay, alright.
Are we keeping it the same for the fire department though?
We're gonna pay them too.
And then I also have a question about that too, the comp time that we already have, that's banked. So was all the comp time paid out before we, passed the new pay plan? So is there any hours or any time left over from pre the new pay plan? All that stuff was paid out, right? The hours, I'm not making any sense?
Yeah. If y'all don't mind, can I address the council on your questions?
Sure.
So, in that respect, as some of you know, we have had a change that went into effect January 1 with the state of Alabama changing the way that overtime hours are paid. So, UKG, when we were doing that bill for the payroll system, they built in a system to be able to track, log, monitor the comp time. It would ensure that it was the employee's choice whether or not they wanted to be paid overtime or whether they wanted to bank comp time. If they did not choose to bank it, it would automatically pay overtime. When the state of Alabama made their change, the things that were in place, basically the system kind of broke because police are kept on a 28-day cycle. They have to exceed 171 hours in 28 days to be able to be eligible for overtime. Fire department has a 21-day cycle. They have to exceed 159 hours to get overtime. State of Alabama's change said that if you work over 40 hours, no matter whether it's overtime or not, then we will not charge state tax for it. Well, we were able to, the standard 40-hour employees, that's not been a problem. The problem came in with this 21 days and the 28 days, and it broke the system on their overtime. So we've been having to manually make those corrections. So in that respect, if you'll remember, our implementation was in January. So we have been going through the records of what these employees should or shouldn't have had as far as hours. So to answer your question specifically, Ms. Tiffany, they were not paid out. The fire department's comp time was not paid out at the time that we made the changes with the pay implementation.
Do we know what should have been paid out? Do we have a number on the hours?
We're working on that. There was some issues with the fire department's pay process where some of their hours were not being accounted for. So those are being looked at and monitored and making sure that we have amounts. So it's a project that we're working on.
That's what, and you know, that's what,
Scary.
yeah, we need
Well,
to.
they're 24-hour shifts, and that program was having a hard time recognizing those 24-hour shifts, wasn't it?
It was not so much that, it is, so, and I'm trying to kind of simplify it, I apologize. Basically, when these employees in the fire department, when they have their 21-day period, they would have to exceed 159 hours. It would show that they had overtime, worked over 159 hours. But no sick time, no vacation, no, any type of leave time can count towards overtime. But hours worked and the leave time together may have exceeded 159, but it didn't trigger it as overtime. So those hours, those regular hours we discovered in March were not being accounted for. And that's why we have to make sure. So far, you know, it's minimal, but it is there, and we're trying to address it and get a hard number. That way we know what's been paid out and what hasn't been paid out.
So when you find this, when you find this number, is this something you recommend that we pay out that difference immediately? If so, is that's going to be paid, is that going to be paid at the new rate?
If the rate was acquired, did it?
No, well, you know, in the beginning, we asked that everything be paid out, that's what we asked, so, but that didn't happen.
Wow. But is that the case? When you find that number, the missing hours from January, March, are we paying that out?
So I can tell you what we've done with an employee who has left. They were paid out at the hours that it was earned.
Okay.
So the pay rate that it was
Pay rate.
earned.
But you're able to tell the difference between when they earned these hours and when they got the new hours, so you can tell the difference.
We have the time frame, we have the pay rates that was paid out. That's what's taking so long is going through these records for the finance call.
How long do you think it's going, if this is the next task at hand, how long would it take to get this finalized, to get this taken care of?
As long as there's not other things that have pushed in front.
Because it kinda just jumped to the priority list.
And I agree with you, and several times it's been priority, but you have fires that happen every day. The priority is to have it done, it is nearly there. I would love to tell you a hard definite in 2 weeks we would have it ready. I can't give you a hard definite on that, but that is the intent. It's number one priority of what's being worked on.
Can we request that we have, so, do you have a number on how many it is right now? How many people it is right now? Do you have a number?
I mean, there's 26 people in the fire department, so you're looking at 24 of them.
Okay, so can we get an update at the next work session on how far you've come, so that way we can probably try to get a timeline on how much time you'll, need moving forward?
I can definitely give you an update and say
And
where we're at.
I think we can all agree that this is the next priority.
Yeah, and this right here, this example here shows why we need to do away with the comp time and just pay people overtime.
So, and I think, is that on the agenda to be voted on the comp time?
No, ma'am, but, I have a concern. The concern would be if October first comes and we close out the fiscal year, and the audit is done, the numbers get closed. So we can't go back and adjust fiscal year 23, which is what this pay would be, and 24.
Well, today is the 5th, and our next meeting is on the 17th. So hopefully, let's just see where we are in 2 weeks, and then we can, we can come up with a game plan in 2 weeks. Based on, cause they may finish it, it may be finished in 2 weeks.
And it would not be fiscal year 23, it'd be fiscal year 24. Cause it was from November, starting in the period of November.
But we don't wanna roll it to the next fiscal year.
I understand that completely, and like I said, it has been the priority, but we, you know.
So are we all in agreement that this is the priority?
I think so.
Okay, so, and Alex, I think we're gonna, I'm not in favor of the comp time. Looks like, I think there's 3 of us. Ashley, I don't know how you feel
I
about
think we
it.
need to look at the fire department, cause that's common that's common for fire departments to have comp
We
time.
just put that resolution in place when?
Sir, that resolution was done
Nate, do you? have any-
2022,
But if we give
30
it-
September of 2022.
We have to be consistent though.
That's fine.
It was just modified in twenty-two, we've had comp time since. As,
years.
yeah.
Now, I think they finna make a little more money, buddy.
And just to point out too, to your comment that, you know, this is why you wanna do away with comp time, the issues with the overtime stuff have nothing to do with the comp time, those are two totally separate issues.
Yes, sir.
The issues of going back and working through and correcting the hours that weren't being accounted has nothing to do with any comp time.
I understand, I just know comp time can be misled, and it's better just to pay it out
I have a question.
than it is to, take it.
Is it about this?
And the only reason I know that is because I deal with it every day. I mean, we used to do comp time in the maintenance department, and we ended up, we went to overtime a couple of years ago, just because it's so much to track and try to keep up with.
And it's not to be voted on tonight, but it will be, we'll decide at the next meeting.
Doesn't the FLSA kind of lay out though for government entities comp time?
So that was one of the things I apologize to get into. So FLSA does set out those regulations. It's pretty clear, you've got very specific guidelines that it has to be followed by, and that's the way it was built. In that respect, going into what you were saying, comp time ties in with wages. So in that respect, that is where wages are not, a salary is approved by the council, but wages day to day are not. That's scheduling with departments and et cetera, and payrolls are put forth. You guys end up approving the payrolls after the fact, after wages have already been done. Whether it was comp time wages being paid out, used as leave time, or whether it was overtime being paid out, it's still falling into wages.
So let's just try to get this, let's get this taken care of, and then we'll decide what we decide with the comp time. But let's just try to get this taken care of now, because we don't want this to roll into, fiscal year 25.
Understood. And I will agree with Nate, this is not, it's not something that we were unaware of. This is a problem with the payroll system that we discovered. We figured out the fix for. It took some time to figure out what was going wrong, what was being missed, and that's what's being corrected now.
You're talking about the UKG
Yes.
issue. That thing's been a problem since we bought it, Cassie.
Well, we started our implementation, and then at the end.
I'm
while
almost
we're
ashamed that I
transitioning-
brought it up in that meeting to purchase.
So at the end of the transition is when the state of Alabama made a change. It was working before then.
Then they made a change, so
And
you
then
had
when
that
they
doubt
made
with
the
it.
change, it created chaos.
Well, it's
I
okay,
got you.
doesn't matter how we got here, we're here now, and we just have to do the best we can when we got it and fix it, and hopefully whatever, problems we have, you know, in the past and moving forward, we don't have to be in once we fix it, we know how to fix it.
Exactly.
So let's just make that the priority, and then we'll see what we are in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Alright, I think that's the last thing, oh.
She wants the audit update, for Walter and Cody and asked to.
Yes, I almost forgot, I was about to take a break because Ashton already left us. Is there any, can we take a 5-minute break before he does it?
You can't take a
5-minute break, I didn't realize it's 6:45. So we could just take like a quick bathroom break because Ashton's left us, and then we'll just come back in 5 minutes and get that audit update, and then, begin the council